Hey guys, I'm playing Full House, a Grandmaster, in the 3-minute pool. I'm going back to my trusty Scandinavian. And what is he going to throw at me? He's going to play the main line, from the looks of it. Puts the pawn on d4, as most players do against the Scandi. That's how I refer to my favorite opening, the Scandi. The lovely Scandi. Bishop b3. Why? Why bishop b3? I have a little secret to confess. If white castles kingside in the Scandinavian, I never really feel afraid. I don't think it's like that great of an idea for white. Well, it's fine, but I don't think white gets an advantage, let's say, from doing so. Should I go kingside or queenside? Let's go queenside. A, because it's a video, and B, because I think it's probably the best move. Now let's try to prepare g5. I could do this also with rook hg8. But, yeah, I guess we're going h6. Yeah, this bishop's poorly placed, isn't it? This should be fun. I'm just going to try to go g4 and weaken him. Maybe he'll play g4. He might. He does. Okay. Now, can I make it spicy and play h5? h5 he can take with his knight. Let's prep this idea. Let's go here. I mean, it's pretty obvious what I'm going for now with this pawn break. But the funny thing is I don't think he can do much about it, you know? He can play knight f6 now. He's going back with his queen. Yeah, I mean, this has to be the right decision. Now, I was going to take here. Is that good? I could take with the pawn. He takes here. I'll take with the pawn also looks good. Let's do that. And I take check. Can't I just do this now? Oh yeah, you're in big trouble. Do you even have a defense to rook h1? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, I think this is over. No defense that I see. He resigned. Okay. Well, his problem in that position, like after I castle queenside, is that his potential queenside pawn storm, which would be the traditional attacking mechanism when we have opposite side castling, his pawn storm is not far along at all. It doesn't even exist yet. And he's already diverted his queenside rook to d1. So his position is not really geared towards really threatening me with these pawns. His bishop on b3 is blocking the b pawn. Takes him several moves to get organized. So this is an interesting decision whether to castle short or long, because often I found that this type of decision comes down to your opposition. The traditional advice would be, if you're playing someone lower rated than you, or someone you really want to beat, you're not really satisfied with the draw against them, you should try to unbalance it and, you know, maybe go castles queenside if you think it's safe enough. Whereas if you're okay with the draw, you're playing someone, let's say you're rated or higher, you're fine with just equalizing out of the opening, you can go short and play it safe. But to be honest, in this position, I'm pretty satisfied with the decision, and I think I would play castles queenside against anyone, regardless of their rating. Even if a draw was needed to win the tournament or something, I'd still be really sorely tempted to do this. Let's see what the engine thinks. Engine says castle short, but I doubt there's going to be a huge difference in the eval, because I think black's comfortable either way. Yeah, it's not much. I mean, this is effectively no difference in the evaluation. I could go back and show you the other moves, but really there's not much to be said. Just as far as he develops his position, I mentioned how castling short usually doesn't present black with that many problems. It's hard to describe in a few minutes like why that's the case. I guess the main thing is that when white castles long, they have more of an attempt to break through in the center earlier in the Scandinavian. Like for instance, the main line, or one of the main lines, is bishop d2, e6, knight d5, using a discovered attack on the queen. Queen d8, take.
Check.
And then regardless of how black takes, white will soon play queen e2, and then castle long. And the juxtaposition of the rook on d1 and the queen on f6, or the queen on e2 facilitating d5, like using the pin on my king, that makes it harder for black to equalize and gain counterplay. But when white just kind of develops lackadaisically and is satisfied with castling short, I never feel in any great danger, I guess, in this type of position. Bishop b3, also, I don't really see the point of that move. It's kind of useful because the bishop can sometimes get hit by black's knight if he goes knight b6. Most of the time when bishop b3 it's played in order to defend the c2 pawn further. But he's already played queen e2, and I don't think his bishop really belongs on d2 anyway, so nor would I really take that pawn on c2, even if I could, because that usually just leads to problems. So I think bishop b3 is maybe a little bit of a redundant move. I did this just to threaten this cheapo queen takes g5 or bishop takes f6. He went back. Ah, queen h5. Okay, computer points out a good resource. Sometimes black can do this. It's a nice one. Swinging the queen over and taking advantage of the pin. And yeah, he probably has to play h3 because I'd be threatening to remove his knight and then checkmate him on h2 using my queen and bishop together. So let's say h3, and sometimes you can even sack on h3 here, but probably better to just do this and go into an endgame that's very pleasant for black. I just have a structural advantage. And he's got wrecked pawns. So, yeah, that was a nice one. I just went back to c7. I actually don't even really need to move my queen. I don't know why I felt it necessary to move the queen. But this does threaten bishop takes h2. And c7 is the square black will try to retreat their queen to in the Scandinavian, most lines. Okay, so I castled long. He did this. I went h6. I sort of wonder if putting a rook on g8 is better, but the advantage of h6 is I don't have to commit my rooks yet. Like, let's say I play rook dg8 here. It's almost like I'm putting all my eggs in one basket before I even have my pawn storm going. So I think I'd rather prepare the g5 move and position my rooks accordingly after that, then commit my rooks first and then try to throw the pawns up. In this exact position. I'm not saying that's always the best strategy, but here, given how flexible both sides are at the moment, I think that's probably the best thing to do. I could also play, like sometimes I'll do g5 like without any preparation here. That would be kind of extreme, but it's just playing it like purely like a gambit. Reasoning that the pawn on g7 was just a hindrance anyways to black's attack, so maybe just play g5 and give it up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's not quite sound here. He could maybe even play g4 and then after retreat, like choose which way he wants to capture on g5. So I went h6, went bishop c4. I saw no reason not to play g5, so I did it. He did this. Computer always wants me to play king b8. A useful move, but I don't know why king b8 would be necessary right now. Unless he could somehow play like d5 and then clear the diagonal for his bishop to capture the pawn on a7, but that seems far-fetched. So, yeah, he's probably in quite a bit of trouble here. The best move the engine can come up with is knight e5, giving back a pawn if I want it. Or giving a pawn if I want it. But it thinks that he has good play if I do take that pawn. Okay, so he has to do something extreme now. He did that. I just traded and played knight f6. Engine likes it. Yeah, and it likes h5 too. Good. Good stuff. Take. Yep, and I can just take here. This is nice. And his position looks too tough. If he takes here, I'd probably just play knight takes, and soon my rooks are going to get at his king, or he's going to lose material. Like f6 is a very simple threat in this position. I might even have more devastating stuff like rook h3, pin the knight, so that I can threaten rook takes g5.
Check.
Yeah, and this is over. Okay. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed that Scandinavian game. And if you have any questions about this one, or about this opening in general, please let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.